Hey guys, Thomas Bradford fan speaking back. As with the title, you will understand that I am doing a review of season 20. I know I'm extremely late, but I was getting bored and I thought, why not do this? So yeah, I'm going to review each season 20 episode and then give a rating to each episode. Yeah. So without further delay, I think we should start off.
Sydney sings.
Sydney, how long have you been up there?
Sydney. Ever since he got a resolution for his absence and the missing Christmas decorations, he's done very little. Here, he finally has something to do. And does it play off? Yes, it does. I like how Sydney's job is to bring Percy his new wheels, as it reflects his previous episode. And I feel like Thomas's role made sense. Sure, it was minor, as all it did was make a suggestion for Sydney to remember his task, but it made a huge impact. Sydney himself does feel like a typical Dumbo, as many have said. But you can actually relate to him, regardless of age. Unlike Henry in Henry Spots Trouble. Not much else to say really. A pretty good start to what seems a very promising season. 8 out of 10.
Toby's new friend.
It's fair to say that during season 19, Philip has since gained a mixed reputation among the fandom. Personally, I think he's a fine character, but his persona just needs a bit of tweaking. I mean, can you shut up about the time you beat Gordon in a race, Philip? And his role in the Great Race leaves a lot to be desired. I think it's a really good episode, and this is how Big Bell should have been. Once again, Toby and Henrietta have a relationship which was done very well, especially when she teases him about Philip. And the workman's reaction to the idea of a race was also excellently done. Also, it is interesting that Toby, even though annoyed by Philip initially, he's much more subtle about it compared to Gordon and James. There's also the question like, how on earth did Toby was a diesel? How does Philip think that? Because being box-shaped, I can understand, but thinking a steam tram is a diesel, really? And that near collision between Philip and Thomas was not logical. Shouldn't Thomas have a routine for the branch line duties? Shouldn't he? Anyways, leaving that, the moral is also pretty good too. That not everybody has to agree on everything to be friends. And that I can understand very much. 8 out of 10.
Henry gets the express.
I'm gonna say it right now. Helen Farrell is certainly one of the best writers of the show. Not that I have anything against Andrew Brenner's writing, but he's got some storytelling issues. I absolutely love this episode to bits. Everything feels like it came out of the Railway series. And Henry gets his best episode after an extremely long time, where he isn't portrayed as an idiot, or a loser, or a worse, or whatever you want to call it. Well, Henry does worry when Gordon gives him a confidence knock, but he gets back on his high horse when Thomas reassures him. So, it's good. And Gordon's comeuppance, much like Slow Steven, was very much laser-guided karma for him. And the amount of references.
A goods train. A goods train. Oh, the shame. A goods train. A goods train. A goods train, he'd grumbled. The shame of it. The shame of it. Oh, the shame of it. That's coming through. But that's my line. Hi, Gordon. Hi, Gordon.
before the express today?
Ha! Nonsense! Who would he ask?
Henry's pulled it before.
Well, he'd hardly manage it now.
We've done it together. We've done it together, said Edward and Henry. You've done it, hooray! You've done it, hooray!
You can't pull the train. Henry will have to do it. Gordon, you better get clean straight away.
I'll have none of your nonsense. Thank you very much.
We'll give him nonsense.
Come along, Puff Percy. No nonsense. We'll give him nonsense, giggled the trucks.
James found the flying kipper very difficult when he pulled it.
I did not. It was just smelly.
Was distracted because the troublesome trucks were teasing him. And then there was trouble. Cranky was still unloading the fish like kipper. It was already
A very good episode.
There, you see. I did it. I delivered.
Yeah, what else to say? It's great. 10 out of 10.
Diesel and the Ducklings.
Whilst the first two episodes were almost universally praised, this episode got a little more mixed reaction. On first watch, I thought of it being the worst episode ever. And that's what I still think. Diesel's character was totally ruined. Some people didn't like it, but I didn't like it. Also, yes, Thomas was shoehorned. His role would have been better if Doug was there, as it would reflect the rivalry in Season 2. Diesel is supposed to be an oily and devious engine, not a big softy, as said in the episode. I can't imagine Season 2 Diesel doing these sort of behaviors.
Got you this time, Stanley. You'll make very fine scrap indeed.
And Harry and Bert, from evil villains in Season 5, now from typical bullies,
Oh, who's a little fluffy ducky there?
they both are now softies. Seriously, not good. However, Diesel's theme was good.
Who's that pushing? It's me, Diesel. Out of the way, slowcoach. There's no need for that, Diesel.
And the jokes were pretty good too. 5.5 out of 10.
Bradford the Brakevan.
A new Brakevan character. Interesting. But how does it play off? Amazing in my opinion. Even though this is the first episode, I think Bradford would make an excellent addition to the cast. He does act like Toad a bit, if he was, more direct and polite. And if he's going to be with Samson more often, they could make a great dynamic with Samson's silliness and Bradford's strictness. Shame it had to be Thomas in the spotlight, as he could have been easily replaced. But the episode, the way it went, was just fine. Bradford himself is fantastic. Rob Rastrell delivers that Welsh accent perfectly, and the design of Bradford is also excellent. It's also interesting to how several engines were frustrated with the attitude. I do have some issues. Why did the Fat Controller not realize it was Bradford causing the engines to be late? I thought he was smarter than that. And one more thing. Is this guy literally stupid? He's taking truck full amounts of double the load. If it was Season 1, I would understand, but where's his maturity gone? Also, shouldn't safety be as important as timing? Well, now that I look into it, there are some flaws with it. But overall, a great episode. 8 out of 10.
Saving time.
Saving Time is an episode which most people don't like. However, I liked it. The slow pacing does bother a little, but not much. And I like the jokes and humor too. However, the slow pacing does affect the humor a little. Thomas's cheekiness playing on Samson's stubbornness and pride was also good. And it was nice seeing Sir Handel and Peter Sam having a role, especially in an era where Sir Handel has been neglected. Also, why Bradford not working with Samson? That could have improved the episode a little. Overall, 7 out of 10.
Ryan and Daisy.
The moment I heard about this episode, I looked forward to it, especially due to knowing that Daisy and Ryan would be working together on the Harwick branch line. I also love the railway technicalities. It's clear that timetables on the Harwick branch line does not only affect the line, but other lines as well, as shown when Ryan is late for the quarry. That was great. As for Daisy, I'm extremely happy to see her, as she was last seen in season 4's episode, Bullseye. And after so many years, she finally stars in an episode. The dynamic of Ryan and Daisy was also great. She's sly and manipulative, but not like Diesel, and takes advantage of Ryan's niceness. That's Ryan's flaw. He's too nice, and Daisy knows it. And even though the moral of this episode has been done to death, it works for them, or for this episode, as they're getting used to each other. Plus, it shows that Daisy does care for Ryan at the end.
You're a diesel rail car. I'm just a tank engine.
And Ryan's voice? I'll miss Eddie Redmayne's performance, but I get why you can't reprise the character, since he's a big A-list actor. But I think Stephen Kyman did also a good job. Overall, I loved this episode to bits. The humor is great and Ryan and Daisy play off each other brilliantly. And the morals are great, if presented perfectly. 10 out of 10.
Pouty James.
Why is it that every time James learns a lesson, he goes back to being an idiot? In Philip to the rescue, he lets Philip's enthusiasm get to him and he ends up crashing. It's also surprising that in this episode, Philip shows more maturity. Not only that, but James's attitude in Pouty James is over the top. Sure, it would have been better if this was season 1, but we are 20 seasons in, and James should have learned by this point not to let his ego get the better of him. But his attitude completely devalues what he had learned in episodes like Toad's Adventure or Duck in the Water. These are all episodes where James already learned this lesson. But this episode's most worst line.
But not for long.
So what you mean to say is that James had learned nothing? Which makes the episode completely pointless. You can't just teach a moral only to have the character forget it instantly.
James?
What? Oh, sir?
Oh, don't you...
My exact reaction to this episode. Although, to be fair, the comedy was good, and this sequence.
Fortunately, James was in too much of a bad mood to work quickly, and it took him ages to get to the waste dump with his trucks. And even longer to get back to the shunting yard.
My attitude.
And he still didn't get any coaches to pull.
Was good. Also, I do have to admit, I didn't like it, but it is still enjoyable to watch. 6 out of 10. I like how Skip got finally an episode to himself. And it was nice on how they expanded on what became of him following Sailor John's arrest. Captain Joe seems like he could be an interesting character. And it's nice to see some human interactions. Duck and Olive also have a good role. They tease Skiff at first, but after he saves them from crashing, they appreciate him for being there to help them out. The way Skiff got himself upright was a bit ridiculous, but considering how the situation was intense, I can let it go. The stormy scenes were very great, and the music playing for the climax was intense. Not much else to say, really. A 10 out of 10. This episode is interesting. If you hear something you think will be big and grand, you may end up getting getting ideas above your head and not being asked for detail. Also, I never would have thought that Daisy was fluent in French. There's a certain joke which is very controversial, but I don't want to talk about it because I don't care and I'm neutral about that. The rest of the humor is really good, like Chuck's comment, I think, to the audience.
Right, Jim. We have no idea what she was talking about.
Her interaction with the bull, referring to season 4.
What's the hold up?
And her passing 3 stations at once. Also, Thomas's role could have easily been replaced with the Alzo engines. Otherwise, a particular title wouldn't have been said. However, I did like Anna and Clarabelle's expression towards her.
Being a highly strung rail car can give them the smooth, bump-free ride they require.
Overall, great episode. Not great, but good. 8 out of 10.
The Christmas Coffeepot.
When The Adventure Begins came out, I was extremely happy with it, but I was disappointed with... Wait! Let me finish! I was disappointed with the part of Glenn. I mean, I liked them including the Coffeepot engine, but I thought Glenn would be just another pointless character. But when news came he was going to be in season 20, I was extremely excited. We had first seen Marian and how he finds Glenn, and then we see a reunion between him and Thomas. And then Glenn explains and answers every question that we have been asking the adventure begins. And then basically, hero of the rails happens. I mean, I don't mean that in a negative way. I don't mean it. I don't mean it in a negative way. I actually like how the Earl is helping getting Glenn restored, but shouldn't they just know by now, like, the Fat Control is never gonna scrap them? Huh. And then, this line.
I must say, Glenn, you look as splendid as the day I built you. And, sir, I mean it.
Oh my god. Like, even the little details. That sounds so terrific to me. The only gripe that I have is that Marian's subplot basically goes nowhere. But I still think it's a very good episode. And then, with that, we transition to... I love the character development of Steven here, as it shows how he's jealous of Glenn, a side which we have never seen of him. And then, the race.
Right then, let's see if you can keep up with me. Ready? Steady?
Oh my god, that race. I was laughing so hard when the Eye of the Tiger started playing. And then like the most epic race ever starts. And later on, during this, they forget the race and then they talk to each other and say how modern railways are like, how modern railways are. Like typical old people. Or engines in this case.
Even get out of my way. Show some respect for your elders. Sorry, Gordon. We're racing. Ha! You call that racing? I was winning races before you were even a sketch on a drawing board. Young Gordon. Oh, good one, Stephen. Would you like a cup of tea with that, young Gordon?
They're like, so, like the insults to Gordon and James, like, so, you get what I mean. The talk of the castle did kind of end abruptly, but I think we know what's going to come from that in season 24. All in all, great episode. I would even consider this one of the best Christmas episodes of Thomas. Christmas Coffeepot, 9 out of 10. Over the Hill, a 10 out of 10. So, that was part 1. Part 2 will be coming out very soon. At least I hope very soon. And I hope you, enjoyed the video.